Appreciate you guys tuning in. This is Phil with Alien Car Care. What we're going to try to do today is show you guys a little bit of how vinyl or leather boat seat repairs could work. And what this is this is a classic scenario of a pontoon boat seat. And it's been removed from the boat, obviously. So what we're thinking we're going to do today is a classic example of boat seat repair stitch work. We have two different panels of vinyl that basically they've been a little bit weathered. The thread is starting to get UV deteriorated, but the good news is that the vinyl itself is still in good shape. Now this vinyl here is actually just starting to wear a little bit. And if the camera wants to zoom in a little bit on that. So these guys are much less deteriorated than I've seen. I've seen ones that they start cracking way out. This vinyl is still soft and supple. I think it's fine. It starts to get stretched over time. That's normal. People stepping on it. Skiers and swimmers stepping on your boat seats, getting out, jumping in the water. It does happen. There's nothing you can do about that. We can, however, fix this seam here, fix that thread there. I think the thread has started to get deteriorated, perhaps from UV, but the fact that the vinyl itself is still soft and pliable, we can work with it, no big deal. We don't have to recover, and this is a great option for those of you wondering. Alien Car Care does this all the time. Alien Car Care specializes in small leather blemishes, leather cracking, spot blending or dye work for an area of wear and tear on your interior of your car, on your boat, your motorcycle. Heck, I've worked on quad seats. This could even be applicable in RVs. This could also be applicable in like, you know, a Harley seat or something, leather or vinyl, both either or. So without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and get started. I think I'm going to pick probably a kind of a vanilla colored here, just somewhat matching the threads that's there. You're only going to see a little bit when I'm done. You should only see, you know, the little bit in between the seam when I'm done, and when I finish it up, it should be snug. It won't be perfect, but it'll be better. So that's what we're going for. I never ever use the word perfect. That's a bad word to use. Don't use the word perfect. People's expectations tend to go way up, and you just, you know, it's not good, Anth. You just don't want to do that. We like to under-promise, over-deliver. That's what we do at Alien Car Care, because I'd much rather set expectations properly and blow you away than set expectations real high, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, you told me it was going to be perfect. Nobody likes that. So, what I like to do in this, I'm just going to do a normal stitch in this one. I could do what's called a double blind stitch, and a double blind stitch is when you have two needles and you cross over threads and you cross over threads and you cross over threads, and you can do a whole entire area and do a double blind stitch. I could do that here. I'm going to try with a normal stitch, and here's why. Because there's perforated holes already perfect that will hold the thread. They're already there. So all I have to do is retrace what was already there. And if you're clean, you're tidy, and you're neat, and you're not too abusive and rough like Anthony is, then you'll probably have a much better finished product. You know, you can't be clumsy. You gotta finesse, man. Finesse. Gotta have lots of finesse. So I think I like to snip off a section of line here. And again, we're going to try this. If I don't like this, I'll go to the double blind switch, but I'm going to try this first. And Anth, I know this is important. You're listening to this too. Could be one of our tutorial videos. Could be an instructional video for team members like yourself. Ching. Or those of you who want to work with Alien Car Care, we'll hire you if you got skills to pay the bills. So we're going to, good thing my eyes are still good today. Some days they're not so great, you know, it's like old age, it just comes in increments. You don't know, all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're like, what the heck, I could see that yesterday. And today, I'll be out on a river and I'm trying to tie a fly knot and I'm like, so we're good today. Eyes are working great. Focal's working great. It's because I ate my carrots. You know what carrots are good for, Anthony?
Your retinas in your eyes.
Boom. So there's just a little knot there. We like to have fun at Alien Car Care. That's what we do. Little senses of humor, you know. It's important. Makes the work day go by, right? Right, Brando?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna try here to start. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to bring it up in a hole. Bring this little needle through one of the already set holes. And this is a pain, man. I'm not gonna lie, like for real. This can be such a pain trying to find around in the vinyl. Move your fingers around and then kind of find the tip of the needle. Boom. Got her. And we're going through there like that. It's just nice and just keep it gentle. And then I'm gonna go directly across the way here. What I mean by that, directly across the way, there's perforated holes directly spaced out perfectly. So if I stay with them, as you can imagine, this is a very tedious process. It's very time consuming, hence the reason we charge the way we do when we do these kind of repairs. Not many people want to do this. But if you're good, you're kind of artistic, they're fun. And all I'm doing, and again, this wouldn't even be, see how I have to stretch that vinyl right there? This wouldn't even be possible if your vinyl was dry rotted, because guess what it's gonna do when I go to pull on the holes? Rip! And that's no good. Oh, I just noticed something right away. I'm glad I did. Let this be, let the wise men hear. Those who have ears, let them hear. As Jesus would say, he who has ears, let him hear. So I went in across, and I actually have to go to the one that already has a thread in it directly across the way. Does that make sense, Anthony?
No.
For real?
I can't just don't want to get in the video.
No, it's fine.
Each thread it's right across. So like each dot has a corresponding one across from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So you want to go across.
So I started with a big knot.
Yep.
And that knot provides the stopper or the end, so it doesn't keep pulling, the thread doesn't keep pulling through. I don't know what the right terminology is for that. So now, imagine me doing that, repeating that, 200 times. Yeah, I know, right? But what's good about these is when you get a tiny little needle, because I don't have to do the double blind stitch, boom, I can start doing that. It was a pain to get started, but they usually flow a little bit easier. But you don't want to and boom, see how that'll snug up tight? So if I'm going to keep doing this, but you got to correct, you got to auto correct as you go along every half inch or so, because if you try to tighten it up when it's all the way back here, you could end up with slack and looseness and wrinkles, and it won't line up just perfectly. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, yo? So we are now working our way along here. For all those DIY people that want to try to do it yourself, I won't be bitter. You can go ahead and you can try to do that on your own. When you mess it up, I'm going to charge you twice as much. Do it. But some of you are going to ace it, and you'll do great. And then if you need a job, come see us. We'll hire you. Because not everybody wants to sit here and play around with this, although some of y'all just like watching. Just, oh, that's neat. I've always wondered how that was done. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Sir, you're like the assistant to a surgeon. Can you please grab me my scalpel and sponge? No, I'm just kidding. Can you grab me my dental hook? You know the little orange with the little... That's a fantastic tool. If you don't have one of these, you need to get one of these. You know what I'm saying? You need to get one of these, right? Dang it, these guys are taking... I tell you. These kids, man. Kids these days, Brando. Kids, it should be in there, and it was in there, young man. So once again, y'all better find it. These things do not leave their intended places without being put back. Otherwise, heads roll, baby, heads roll. Hey now, where was that?
It's hiding.
It was in there the whole time?
It's back.
Ching, dental, oh, right there. This is a perfect tool. So you take this, and once you start, and these are not crazy expensive. This is like Harbor Freight or something, but it's a handy tool because I can start and I can come back here. I don't want to get too far. I can start correcting. See what I'm doing? And you want to assist the vinyl. You don't want to just use the thread. This is very, very important, folks. You don't want to just use the thread to try to pull itself together. You'll stretch the holes. You'll get wear and tear. See how I'm using my fingers here? I'm bringing the seam together. Sometimes some people will use a tool for that as well, and then I can get it to do that. And if I sit here and I carefully, I have surgeon's hands here. You don't want to be a night after drinking, Anthony, okay? It's not a night you want to do that as a night after drinking. This would be bad. And Anthony's like, nah. Don't pull Joe. Joe's not here, we can't pick him. These are one of the easier vinyl repairs we do here at Alien Car Care. Man, we've seen some nasty cracks and things that we have to use a repair compound in, and we have to use a patch. Or leather is nice because it's longevity, it lasts longer, it's very, very durable. However, while vinyl cannot often be brought back once it gets too dried and cracked, leather sometimes can. You can recondition it. We use a different number of products for cleaning and leather. We like Lexol. It's pH balanced for leather cleaner. Think of like horse saddles or baseball gloves, motorcycle seats, automotive seats, BMW. Some of these older makes and models, if you don't condition the leather and stuff, these threads will start to crack sooner. These threads, everything will start to dry rot, and it'll start to spread out and migrate on you with the UV damage, and it'll get brittle, get hard. The leather will get real hard and not pliable. That's why we recommend conditioning, or just bring it here to Alien Car Care. We'll detail it, and it's always included, conditioning your seats. A lot of people don't think about that. And you do actually have to do that with vinyl sometimes, especially when it's sitting out in the sun all the time. For this reason, we highly recommend one of our products like ceramic coatings for boats. This is an older seat. And this thing is probably, I think I said earlier, this may be a 10, 15-year-old boat seat. It's actually in really good shape. It's nice, it's squishy, it's still got its softness to it. It's not nasty. So he's covering it, or he's got it under a dry dock or something. But what a lot of people do is they put them out, they set it and forget it, and they just leave their boat out there, and it's like years go by, and next thing you know, they come out and they're like, oh, I don't know what's going on with the boat. It's, the seats, can you do anything with it? It's so far gone. At that point, you just got to recover, you got to reupholster the whole boat. Now instead of, a typical repair costing $150 for labor or something, now you're talking thousands if you got to recover your boat. I mean, even if I had to recover just one seat, it might be $300-400. I don't know, but somewhere in that range. We don't do reupholstery here at Alien Car Care, just for the simple fact that it's a different animal. It's a different beast. And one of the things that happens often when we get asked this question, very common question, actually, at Alien Car Care, do you guys do reupholstery? And so what we're always trying to do is gauge how bad is the repair, can we do it, or does it just need a whole new cover? We can buy covers and install them. We don't have and this is where it turns into a different animal. We don't have the different, mic check, 1 2 1 2. We don't have the different sewing machines and tooling and and rolls of vinyl and rolls of fabric. That in an upholstery shop, it requires like a whole different area and a different shop or whatever that we just don't have room for at time. So we've never taken that on. It's kind of a different beast. It's kind of like we do certain automotive repairs here, and we do a lot of cosmetic, not mechanical. A little caveat to that. We do a lot of automotive cosmetic repairs, and people are always asking about body work, and we do minor body work all the time. And we'll replace a panel, and we'll do things like you know, sand and paint a bumper, but we'll even knock out some dents on a fender, paint a door, deer damage. But major collision is a whole nother set of tools, much like major reupholstering is a whole different set of tools. When you're talking major collision, you're talking frame straighteners and you know, now you're getting into radiator supports and broken headlamps and things that require some calibrating and things. It's a different animal. So we don't do major collision work here at Alien Car Care either, much for the same reason. We are wrapping this up, just finalizing our gargantuan tear that was from here to here. This is looking okay. It's not my favorite, but the reality is these holes are a little bit stretched, and so now the thread going through there, it's not as clean as one of these as a machine thread, but nonetheless, the seat will stay together if you didn't know it was there, and long term, it should hold up really well. I never recommend people's heels stepping hardcore into their boat seats because you can have things like this happen. And then their seams separate. So I'm just wrapping it up, finishing up the last final couple holes here. So when I'm finishing these last couple holes here, I'm gonna overlap a little tiny bit. I want strength right in the last couple holes here, and I don't want these to have any problem. So what I like to do is I like to bring it, overlap a couple, and then go down and back out through previous threads and make sure that it's less chance of it pulling if you're going back down, and I can actually go in and out of a couple of these holes so it becomes like a knot. Some people are better at finishing this maybe than I am, but this has always worked for me. I don't ever have them give out. I don't know. There's probably a nicer, cleaner way to do it, but it seems to work okay for me. Carefully just finding an exit. The exit wound right there, and then you kind of pull that tight, nice and tight like a tiger, and then you go in here. Just overlapping a couple of these bad boys a little bit. Trying to keep that nice and clean. And then what I can do is I can come back and I can snip it. Carefully, you don't cut the vinyl. And I also like to clean my threads a little bit. So after I've taken that knot, I've pulled in the thread and double backed on itself a couple times. And I weave it again so that it doesn't pull out on accident. A lot of times what I like to do is make sure that I take a lighter and I hit any frayed thread. Sometimes you'll get frayed threads on some of these, and I like to just singe the threads so that they're not kind of deteriorating, and they're waxy materials for them to melt really easily. So I am wrapping up here with this second boat seat that my right-hand man here was helping me with, my student. And as we finish these boat seat repairs, it's really important to remember the quality of the vinyl matters, the flexibility, the pliability, all that stuff on whether you're going to try this. This is actually very easy stitch work that we're doing here. This is just following the holes that are currently here. However, sometimes we can do double blind stitches, we can do other type of stitches, we can cover those in other videos. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is Phil with Alien Car Care, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.